Welcome back to the video. Today we're going to be creating a login name for a user. We're going to ask the user for a first name, last name, and a random date. And date in this case is like 2024 or 2023, just a year. And the login name will be the first 5 letters of the last name, but if the last name has less than 5 letters, we're going to use all the letters in the last name. And then that's going to be followed by the first letter of the first name, or just the first initial. That's going to be followed by the last 2 numbers of the date. So here's a sample I'll input so you can actually see it, so it makes a little more sense. So someone enters Michael Jordan 1991. We're going to use the first 5 letters of Jordan, which would just be Jorda, followed by the first initial of the first name, which would just be M, and then we want the last 2 numbers in the date, which would just be 91. Here's another example, Kanye West 2024. If someone enters this, West is less than 5, so we're going to use the whole last name, which would just be West. We want the first initial for Kanye, which is K, and the last 2 digits of the date, which is just 24. So that's how it's going to look. So let's start coding it up. So we can define some variables. We'll call it first, last, and date. And then we can set that equal to input. And that's going to get user input, but we don't want to do dot split, so it splits it at a white space. So someone says, let's say someone enters Michael Jordan 1991. It's going to be Michael's going to go to first, Jordan's going to go to last, and date is going to be 1991. It's going to split it because there's white spaces in between. Okay, there's that. And then we can use an if statement to check if the length of the last name is 5 or less. So we could say if, and we can use the built-in Python method called length, and then we could pass in last. And we can say if last is greater or equal to 5. If it is, we only want the first 5 characters. We don't have to get everything. So we could say, we'll define another variable called login. It's going to store the whole login name. And we can set that equal to last. And then we want the first character. So we could say 0 to 5. So that's going to get the first 5 characters of the last name and store it inside of login. And then we're going to use login to add more to it later. But we could do an else statement because that's only if it's greater or equal to 5. But if it's not, we have to use the whole thing because if it has less, we have to use the whole last name. We could set login equal to last. Like in this case, Kanye, we're using the whole last name and storing that inside login. So there's that. And now we just have to pretty much build the string and we're done. So we could say login plus equals, which is just login equals login plus. And then we already have the last name inside of login. We want to get the first initial. So we could say first at 0, which is just the first letter. And then so we have the first initial now and the last name. So we're pretty much right here. Now we need to find a way to get the last 2 digits of the date. And then we could say string. And in there we could say int. And then we could say date. And then divide that, modulus that by 100. And that should give us the last 2 digits. And that can all be stored inside of login. So now login has the actual login name, which is this. We want to print your login name and then the login name. So the way we could do that, just put it inside a print statement. So we could say print and then your login name, leave a space, and then just the login variable, which has the login name. And then we're done. Oops, forgot a comma. And then we're done. And then let's run the test cases to see if our program works as intended. So let's try Michael Jordan 1991. It should look like this. It should be formatted like that. So if we do that, Jorda M91, which is correct. Now let's try it again, but with Kanye West. Because West is less than 5, so it should use all of the last name. So if we do that, Kanye West 2024, it should be West, first initial, which is K, and then 24. West, first initial K, and then 24. So the program's working as intended, and if this helped you in any way, please leave a like and subscribe.